something. I've always been a people type of person ever since I've been, kid. You guys, if you don't have, if you don't like people, you will have to learn to like people because they'll be more pain and stuff like that. When I was a kid, man, my mom and dad, it was 8 people in the household. We had a 3-bedroom house. So some of the stuff that I'll be talking about, some people might have been through the same situation before, but it was 8 people in our household. My dad, he had an 8th grade education. My mom was probably 8th grade too as well. So you guys know most of the time if your education don't go too far and you don't have a family that has money and stuff, your education can kind of stunt how much you get paid. So coming up, my dad didn't have a lot of funds, so we shared the 3-bedroom. Mom and dad had 1 bedroom, and me and my sister was 5 girls. So all of us shared the 2 bedrooms. And so there was times when we didn't have nothing to eat. There was times when food ran out. There was times when the lights was cut off. I was going to ask Mr. Ricks, can he hit the lights? But if he hit the lights because it's daylights, it's daylights outside, it would come right through the window. But and so there was times in my life when there was no lights in the house. But when you growing up in a situation like that, that's all you know. So it really didn't matter. So during those times, my mom and dad would light some candles sometimes. Then sometimes they had those things where they call, man, it was like an oil lamp.
The oil lamps? The canisters?
So your lights been off too. So that's cool though. So what I'm saying is, so you understand what I'm saying. And then there was also time my mom would go in the backyard, Howard, the circuit breaker was in the back. Back then it would just lock your thing up. So my mom would say, well, come here, June. Get them grip pliers and cut that thing off. Cut the thing off, I cut the power back on. So I've been messing with electricity ever since I was about 8. And it's real life. There was times when the water would get cut off. And for some reason, every time something got cut off, my mom would always call me, come here, June. We got to cut this water back on. And you know, back then, you lift the little plate up, turn the thing. So, this is no joke, man. I was cutting the water back on.
That's illegal now.
Yeah, it was illegal.
It was
back
illegal.
then. It was illegal back then. So I guess you could say I became a plumber when I was about 8 because I was cutting the water back on. But through all of that said, in my mind, I always say to myself, man, I didn't want to live like that. You know what I'm saying? So I made up my mind as a child, no matter what I did, I just wanted to do better. You know what I'm saying? And most of the time, our parents, they're born in a situation that they can't help. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, if you're born in a situation and everybody is scrambling and stuff, you can't help it. You can't control it. But what we can control is what we do. You know, what we plan to do. So as a child, man, I would cut grass, try to make some money, put food in the house. I was delivering newspaper. I think about 12 or 13 I started doing newspaper and cutting grass. So I hated when wintertime came because that means I couldn't cut grass. So then, it didn't snow that much, but whenever it did snow, I always found me a shovel. And I would go around, knock on the people's doors, ask them, can I shovel your snow off your front porch? And some would say yes, some would say no. And even those that said no, sometimes I would just help them out anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that was through my childhood days. Then when I got in high school, I still was a hustler. Not a hustler in a bad way, but a hustler just trying to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we all have to find ourselves sometimes. Because if you're not hustling, you even getting what? Hustle.
That's right.
And hustle, sometimes when you think about it, sometimes when people look at hustling, they say, oh, hustling is a bad thing. You're always trying to hustle. No, it's not that you're always trying to hustle. You're trying to provide for yourself, right? You're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to be to the point where you have more than just enough. Who wants just enough, right? You know what I'm saying? When you start doing how at the end of the week, you don't wanna just have enough to pay your bill, pay your food rent. You wanna have some extra to go on vacation, you wanna have some extra to do something for your kids, you wanna have some extra to do something for your wife or your husband. So, I was always hustling. So, throughout high school, I started running track, and the reason why, come on in, I started running track because I found out when you participated in sports, you got to eat extra, give you a little bit of extra food. We were going through the lunch line, I was like, man, I seem like she always give him a second scoop of potatoes and stuff. So he was like, man, because I played football and I run track. So I said, okay, so I got on the track team. That's what parents gonna get on the track team. Got on the track team. So you get the little extra food sometimes. Then when we had track meets, they would give us like $5. Back then it was Peter Piper Pizza. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Too long.
Junior Beach Boulevard.
But back then it'd be $5. You go to Peter Piper Pizza.
Get you a large pizza.
And I would always take, you know how sometimes people can get some money and spend it all up at one time? I was one of those type that kind of held on to now. And that's another thing, we as African American people, a lot of times when we get money, sometimes we go for so long not have it. As soon as we get something, we want to get rid of it. We want to spend it as soon as we get it. It's not a bad feeling, but it'll leave you in a bad feeling. It's like once you get paid and all your money is gone, you feel what? Bad. So, because now you gotta wait till the next time you get paid. So I always held on to my money. So one day, I'm gonna kind of brush through it, okay, y'all? So I got in 12th grade, started hearing everybody talking about going to college. I had no thought about going to college. I just wanted to finish high school. Everybody was dropping out, you know, friends and stuff was dropping out. One of my friends had kind of convinced me to hang out with him, and I dropped out of school for one day. I dropped out of school for one day. God is my witness. I dropped out of school, and when you don't go to school, that means what? No free breakfast, no free lunch. So we walk around the park. That whole day I was hungry. I said, man, they didn't tell me if you drop out, you was going to be hungry too, right? So I promised you the next day I went back to school. So I did drop out for one day, 24 hours. So I went back to school, finished high school. Once I finished high school, I wanted to go to Norfolk State. I went to Norfolk State one day, caught the bus up there, and I got the application. I was filling the application out. The lady said, well, sir, you know your parents have to fill out the paperwork. So I said, okay. Because, you know, when you're under 24, your parents still have to fill the paperwork out. So I took it home. Gave it to my dad. My dad said, is it free? I said, I don't know, Dad. He was like, fill it out. And they filed the first slave. He was like, well, I'm not putting my name on anything. So I said, okay. So he was like, so you go ahead. He said, this is exactly how he said. Congratulations for finishing high school. Then he asked me 2 questions. He said, do you plan on staying in my house? I didn't know if that was a trick question or not. I didn't know how to answer, so I said yes. I said, okay. Do you plan on eating my food? So again, I thought it was a trick question because he never asked me that. He said, I said yes. He said, well, you're 8. You go out and get a job. If you stay in my house and eat my food. I said, okay. Well, you're gonna have to do something. So what I did, I filled out some applications. Went around, filled out some more applications. And my dad, when he would come home, he would ask me, you hired yet? I said, no. So I said, man, I gotta do something. And I had one of them dads, every time he talked to me, he always touch me. What you gonna do today? Do anything. He had big hands. For real, right? Yeah, he had big hands. So every time he would talk to you, he would hit you.
He was like, put his hand on your shoulder.
Yeah. So one night, I was watching TV, and I saw a commercial come on. It said, join the United States Job Corps. Free breakfast, free lunch, free dinner. Then they said this last part, eat all you want. So I wrote the number down. It was real life. I wrote the number down. In the morning time, I asked my mom. I said, Mom, can I sign up for Job Corps? She said, how much is it? I said, man, he said it was free. She said, well, you gotta ask your dad. So my dad came home from work. I said, Dad, I saw a commercial on TV about Job Corps. I I said, can I sign up? He asked the same question, is it free? I said, no. He said, how much do it cost? I said, it's free. I said, and they give you free breakfast, free lunch, and you get a free trade. He said, well, you can go then. So I called that number. The lady told me it was on Little Creek Road. I caught the bus down there to Little Creek, and I talked to the lady. She was like, so what grade did you drop out in? I said, I didn't. I just graduated in June. She said, you graduated? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, and you want to go to Job Corps? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, they still got free breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She said, yes. She said, don't too many people normally volunteer to go to Job Corps, at least back then. She was like, either the judge sent you, your probation officer sent you, you done did some type of offense where you have to go for 2 years. She said, okay. She said, well, do you have any felonies? I said, no, I never been in trouble before. She said, what you say your name is? So I told her. She grabbed my stuff, put my stuff down. She said, well, Mr. Lawrence, we can have you go on by next Wednesday. And then, of course, you know, they recruit her. So she said, do you know anybody else that want to go to Job Corps too? I said, well, I got 2 sisters who dropped out that might want to go. So I called my sisters, and I called my mom, and I told them about it. So I brought my sisters down the next day, and they signed up too, but they had dropped out of school. But we all went and get the Job Corps, right? So I'm gonna make the best of it, because they had free breakfast, free lunch, free dinner, free trade. My sister and them, they got up there, and I want to say this because sometimes sisters, brothers, family members, and friends, they may not always have the same goals and intentions that you may have. So we get up there, they fight, they get put out. So the people was sending them home, and they asked me that. I said, no, because you guys still got free breakfast. I'll see you guys when I come back. So they got kicked out, sent home. So during that time, I was taking up, they had business in Clear. And you know, it was back in the day when you would type, the typewriter would slide back like this, type again, slide back. I stayed up there for a year. It's normally, it's a 2-year program, but because I had my high school diploma, you just went straight trade. So when it was time to graduate, I graduated, and it was like, okay, Mr. Lawrence, it's time for you to go home. I was like, I thought I was supposed to stay up here 2 years. She said, yeah, but that's only for those who don't have a high school diploma GED. So they sent me home. Go home. Put you on the bus. Come down Grammy Street. Got off. My mom and dad picked me up. We had a long old station wagon. Long, big old station. A lot of smoke come from it. Picked me up from Greyhound. Took me home. My daddy got off work. He did me just like this. Shook my hand, said, congratulations. He said, I got 2 questions to ask you. And remember a year ago, he asked me 2 questions. He always touching, like my man said. He said, I got 2 questions. He said, he hit me. Are you going to stay in my house? I said, yes, sir. Hit me again. He had big old hands. I'm talking about hands like he had more, right? Hit me again. You plan on eating my food? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, your aid got to work. So I went out, put some applications in. After a few days, he come home and asked me the same thing. I couldn't find a job. And he didn't play with food and stuff. He would give you just enough just so he can say he fed you. It wasn't enough to get full. So what I did, I called the lady from Job Corps again on Little Creek. I said, hello. She said, good morning. Thank you for calling the United States Job Corps. I said, yes, this is William Lawrence. I was calling to see if I could sign back up for Job Corps. And she hadn't seen me in a year, so they don't remember me because they deal with a lot of people every day. She said, have you finished high school, or when did you drop out of high school? I said, well, I graduated almost 2 years ago. She said, have you ever been to Job Corps? I said, yeah, I just graduated last week. I said, I just graduated this is real life. So she said, so you say you want to go back to Job Corps? Yes, ma'am. And this is exactly what she said. She said, we never had anybody that graduate from Job Corps and want to come back. I said,